Internet! So for my very first video, I thought that I would do a Boxycharm unboxing. So this is the lowest level that they have, the smallest box, the fewest items, 5 items. It's $25 US per month. If you're Canadian like me, you have to pay $25 plus $5 shipping, which with conversion comes out to like $38. Anyway, so the value of the box is supposed to be over $175 US. You do get 5 products. They are supposed to be full-sized. There's usually a combination of makeup and skincare. Personally, I prefer getting just makeup in a subscription box, although every now and then I've found a skincare product that's really worked well for me. I haven't opened it yet, so the only item that I know for sure that's going to be in here is the one that I picked in choice. They do let you pick 1 item per month that's going to be in your box, but the rest of the items are going to be a surprise. I like being surprised. That's one of the most fun things about subscription boxes, in my opinion. I've always been somebody who loves surprises, like especially at Christmas or my birthday. I won't even like ask ahead of time what my gifts are because I love the surprise. Also, don't mind my one nail. I realize there's one that's a different color than everything else. I did these a couple weeks ago and they'd been staying on pretty well, but one of them chipped all the way off, so I used that to test a new color. So I'm sorry if that's distracting. I just want to jump in here to say that I know this is a really stupid angle to record at. It got dark before I could finish filming, and I thought it would be better to just do a close-up on the product instead of seeing me talking. I've learned my lesson and I won't do this again. Sorry. Okay, so the first item in the box is the PUR 4-in-1 Tinted Moisturizer. So this is the one that I chose in choice. I got the shade LN2. Of course, I am just guessing. That's the shade that seemed like it would be the closest to my skin tone. It has SPF 20, which it says titanium dioxide 5% and zinc oxide also 5%. And this brand is cruelty-free, vegan, and gluten-free. I've never tried PUR complexion products before. I can only remember getting 2 different eyeshadow palettes in a Boxycharm box, both of which smelled kind of weird, like almost like a fake sort of sweetness to them. I remember the shadows being okay, but obviously that doesn't give any kind of indication how the moisturizer is going to be. Quick swatch of that on my hand and see how well I did at guessing my shade online. It's not bad. I mean, obviously this is my hand and not my face, but it doesn't look like it's going to stand out. So the second item is the Farmacy Deep Sweep 2% BHA Pore Cleaning Toner with Moringa and Papaya. So if we take the toner out of the box, oh, just ripped the top of it, that's great. It's actually heavier than I was expecting. I think it's because it's a glass bottle, so you can see it there. It's kind of got a green tint to it, although my desk is also green, so you can't really tell. It's a pretty good size for a toner. That would probably last you quite a bit. It's 120 milliliters. It says alcohol-free and cruelty-free. So I have tried some different products from Farmacy before. I think the one that I use probably the most often is they have a cleansing balm that you can use to remove makeup. I'm actually currently running low on toner, so I wouldn't mind giving this a shot. The third item, this is the apple and it says Baume, which is French for balm. Apple and Balm Glow Lip Mask from Seraphine Botanicals. So apparently this is cruelty-free and vegan. It's just a little tube. This actually kind of looks like the tubes of hand lotion that I've been using. And I'm not going to put it on right now because I can smell it. Oh, no I can't. There's foil on it. Never mind. Item number 4. It says it's bee friendly. I'm not actually sure what this is. Bali Balm, sweet orange and coconut. Okay. So it's a sweet orange and coconut lip balm. So this is where I'm getting a little repetitive. We have a lip mask and now we have a lip balm. So let's see what that one smells like. You know what I was not expecting is it actually smells a little bit like peppermint. It says it contains nuts. The last item in the box is this palette from Ciate, London. This is the Velvet palette. It's got some nice purple packaging. It also says it's cruelty-free and vegan. I'm going to rip this box too, aren't I? There we go. This packaging actually looks pretty nice. So there's the top of the palette. When you open it up, there are your shades inside. I think there's quite a few shimmery shades. I think there's only 4 or 5 that are more on the matte satin side. It's a nice color story. Like I like the purples and the warmth of like these kind of corally pinks and reds here. But I think I'm going to give this away. So I actually am not going to be swatching it because I have a lot of shadows that are in this kind of color family. And I would rather give it to somebody else who doesn't have perhaps as many as I do. This is just going to show a couple options of what we could have gotten instead of the items that I got in my own box. This is the Farmacy Daily Green Moisturizer. So this would have been instead of the Farmacy toner that I got in my box. I think it's nice when they have kind of the same item category and the same brand, because then they're at least comparative value. So next up I wanted to look at the other palette that I could have gotten instead of the Ciate London palette. To be perfectly honest, I would have preferred this one. I was kind of looking forward to it. I love Violet Voss. I think their products are great, and I really like the color story. You know, I don't really have anything quite like this in my collection already. I do think it's funny that they themed this the All of You Forever palette. First of all, that's just a funny name. But I think it's funny that out of a 12-pan palette, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this black one over here. I guess that's also a color of an olive. But out of 12, you have 5 that are on theme, and the rest are just neutrals. I will say that it's kind of interesting. This picture in particular, they really look brown. Every other picture I've seen or videos of people trying them on, they were pinkier shades than this. And that's part of the reason that I liked it, because I thought that was a very interesting color story. So as I said before, the PUR Tinted Moisturizer was my choice item that I picked for this month, and they had multiple shades of that available. These are the other choice options down here. I was close to getting this Laura Geller highlighter, but that yellow shade, I didn't think that would look very good on me. Then there's this micellar water. Is that $90? Holy Toledo. My micellar water is like $6. Then there was this Beauty Creations palette, the Esmeralda 2 palette, and the Persona Cosmetics brush, and then this Ace Beauté bronzer quad. Now, I will say I noticed that I recognize the palette, the brush, and the bronzer from previous months in Boxycharm. I know the Esmeralda palette was a variation item in like November. I don't remember when the brush was from, but that bronzer as well, I think that was from like July or something, because there was that or a blush quad from the same brand that you could have gotten. Now, I personally didn't get any of these 3 things, but I think it's interesting because I know at least those 2 were in the base box. I don't remember if the brush might have been in premium. But if you're somebody who's subscribed for quite a while, like you run the risk of accidentally ending up with 2 of the same thing, which I just think is kind of weird. Now, I don't know what specifically would have been the equivalent substitution for what I got with these 2 balms. It's a Dr. Brandt eye cream. Holy shit, that's expensive too. And then there's this Trust from Beauty lip gloss and a eyeliner duo from Queen with a V, Kveen Studio. And I've seen a couple people try this one on. I know this one is a duo with like a pencil and then a liner. They're both liners. I'm stupid. And with a brush tip. This last item, Reset Mist. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. It says it's a body and linen spray. So that's a little bit different. Usually we don't get lifestyle items, which is literally the brand name. Usually we don't get lifestyle items in the base. Those are usually reserved for like the Luxe box. But that's kind of neat. Yeah, so those are all the items that you could have gotten in your box, potentially. Okay, so to sum up, these are the 5 products I got: the toner, the tinted moisturizer, the lip balm and the lip mask, and then the palette. I would say I am pretty happy with this and this. I don't really have any strong feelings about the lip mask or the balm. I am a little bit disappointed that we got 2 items that were so similar. Like they kind of serve the same purpose. They're like the lip treatment category. Whereas if you had given us like the lip mask and then say a gloss or a lipstick, I would see that as like a little bit more different, even though they are for the same part of your face. The palette overall, I think a lot of people would be happy with. It is really lovely colors. It's a nice compact size. It's just not something that I personally have room for in my collection, really. So I think that's great. That's not a reason to knock the box, because obviously they don't know what I own. But overall I was a little bit on the disappointed side because you have 3 out of 5 in what is supposed to be a beauty box that are mostly skincare. As I said, it's supposed to be, I think, a minimum value of $125 per box. And I went through and I did a little bit of conversion just to see how much each of these items would cost a Canadian consumer like myself. So the Farmacy toner I could find at Sephora, it is $37 Canadian. They say it's $28 US. This cost basically the same amount of what I paid for the whole box itself. I could also find the Tinted Moisturizer at a Canadian retailer where they had it on for $44. And in American dollars, it's $35. The glow mask is $25 US, which I converted. It's about 32 Canadian. That's a lot of money in my mind, just for a mask. Although my favorite lip mask is from Laneige, and that's really expensive too, so I'm not one to talk. The lip balm is $33 US, that means it's roughly $40 Canadian. And then the Ciate palette is $30 US, which is actually not bad for a palette of this size. I couldn't find it at any Canadian retailers, although I did find a very similar color story from Ciate at Sephora, which was $46. Mind you, that one was only 9 shadows compared to this one being 12. So they do guarantee that each box is going to have a value of over $125 US. I did the math, and this one is around the $150 mark, which is not bad if you only pay $25 for it. In Canadian, based on the prices that I could find or convert, it would be around $193. So that's a pretty good value percentage-wise compared to what I paid. However, the value of these boxes is only in whether or not you actually use them. And for starters, that lip balm is way too expensive. I would never pay that much money for lip balm, so that cost right there does not really hold that much value for me. I am a little disappointed as well that I didn't really get anything that I could swatch or try out for the sake of this video, but just because I think that's a lot more interesting than just looking at a box or looking at packaging, you know. However, I do have a Boxycharm Premium coming to me, which is like their mid-size box. These only arrived yesterday on the 22nd, and I don't know when the premium is going to get here because things have been obviously delayed in shipping quite a bit. But hopefully there will be more in that I can try on and talk about whether or not they work, whether or not I like them, or the formula or anything like that. Because obviously with skincare, you have to use it a couple times over the course of like a week or two before you can really tell if it's made much of a difference. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And please like and subscribe if you want more of my content. And if you think the video quality was terrible, please subscribe anyway so I can afford a better camera. Thanks. Bye.